First, I would like to acknowledge my happiness to see you. And also I want to take a second to acknowledge my sadness and my sympathy, because these are challenging times. Yes, people are dying every day. Death is a part of life. But right now, people are dying from this virus that came not into the world, but into the human realm only a few months ago. People get sick. And also, we are meeting in this way because we all are experiencing this lockdown, which is challenging, isn't it? It's not only great to have more quiet time. I actually think our Zen practice or meditation practice has been a very deep preparation for what is happening right now. But I'm also very aware of many people for whom this situation, for various reasons, is very challenging. So when, if not now, is the time for great patience? I tried to say a few words during our Zazen practice. Zen is actually the practice of great patience, always, but especially now. What comes to my mind is famous story in Zen. It happened in China many, many centuries ago in the Tang dynasty. So in the 8th century, when somebody who to this day is very famous in the history of Zen, Chinese teacher Yunmen, he was asked in a meeting like this, he was asked in a Dharma meeting, what is the one practice that the Buddha practiced throughout his life? And without thinking much, Yunmen said, appropriate response. Appropriate response is another way of saying great patience. Great patience. I don't know how your lives are right now in detail, my friends in Athens and perhaps other places in Greece. Personally, I'm really fine. But I hear a lot because I have this wonderful gift that people are willing to still meet me online. And it's, I think it's week 5. I'm not sure, I'm not good at this, but I think it's week 5 of the lockdown here in Berlin. And I know a little bit you're going through a similar situation in Athens. Somehow I hear it's even stricter, one could say, in certain ways. And personally, just my way of seeing things, I was very much in awe and very surprised how people here in Germany just did what I also think is appropriate. They weren't told so much, I think. They just found the appropriate response. And I think the same is happening in Athens and, of course, in a way, all over the world. But last week, I started to feel and see and hear some change. That was week 4. People told me more about having difficult times, really having difficult times. Not so much getting sick. I actually only know 2 people who went through it and who are fine now. But most people talked to me about this kind of social isolation and the social distancing starting to take its toll. Like one friend said to me, you know, I haven't received a hug from a friend in 4 weeks. Challenging emotions seem to come up. Impatience, sadness, a sense of isolation, certain fears, all kinds of stories attached to these fears. And that's just me. I thought, well, there's an English term. It's called cabin fever. It's maybe like going to a beautiful but very small Greek island, and there's not much happening. There's really not much happening. And maybe we're very happy to be there, especially because there's not much happening. And we have wonderful first week, great second week. But maybe in week 3 or week 4, something comes more to the surface. What? Our busy minds. Our minds that always want something else and not what's happening. Our minds that are craving for something new and for some change. And I'm describing this a little bit in detail because I must say I totally understand. I really find it in me. I'm not such a visual person, but sometimes I have deep fantasies of being in Athens and hugging my friends and going out for dinner and sitting in cafes and enjoying the sunshine. And I think, please, dear God, in whom I neither believe nor believe, make it possible that we can meet in the end of May. And then there's somebody here who's trying to practice great patience and just thinks, we shall see. We shall see. So, great patience is the same as the appropriate response. Appropriate response simply means a response that's not driven by our impulses. It's also appropriate response is a response that's not driven by fear, by being bored, by feeling unfulfilled. And thank goodness, we have this wonderful practice of Zazen where we can express, but also learn what great patience is. Great patience is very awake. Great patience is curious. And great patience is not afraid to express oneself and to act. And just very briefly, because I know most of you know this, but sometimes maybe it's good to hear it again. In sitting Zen, we can learn and practice great patience by simply allowing our experience to be our experience. Nothing more. Usually we humans don't do that. Usually we meddle with our experience. What we do, look at yourself. What we do is, if the experience is somewhat positive, we try to hold on to it. We grasp it. It's a very natural tendency. We want to make it be longer than it is. Or if it's a challenging or negative experience, we try to either turn away, push it down, change it, we fight with it, we argue with it. So it's actually easy to describe this, but I do want to say it's a great art. This is the great art of Zen, to allow your experience to simply be your experience. And from this allowing, from this state of great awareness in the middle of your experience, from appreciating your experience as it is completely. You don't have to love it, don't have to love the pain in your legs, but you can learn to appreciate it, because this is your life right now. From this awake appreciation, from this great patience, please express yourself appropriately. Be helpful in the world to yourself and to each other. Yunmen, what's the one practice, what's the one teaching that the Buddha expressed and taught for his entire life? Appropriate response. Thank you very much for so patiently listening to me.